recording and go to OneNote. So, question 1 on the distance learning for Algebra 1 for you all who are actually doing this, and also from May 1st, excuse me, from April 20th on to like May 7th, I think was the date range. Anyway, we have problem 1. It says, which statement about the line below, which statements? So that means obviously, I say obviously, but I think it should be pretty clear. It could be one statement that's correct, or it could be multiple statements. That's why the S is in the parentheses. So which statement or statements about the line below are true? Select all that apply. So we have this line here, and it says for A, the x-intercept is -8. Well, x-intercept, remember, so x-intercept versus a y-intercept. So with a y-intercept, it's when x is 0, what is y? With an x-intercept, it means when y is 0, what is x? And a y-intercept, excuse me, x is anything along the horizontal axis. So let me use green. This is the horizontal axis, and then the y-axis is the vertical up and down, x and y. So anything for the x-intercept, we're saying we don't know what x is, but we know that y is 0. So we know that this would be about -1 over here, and this would be about 1. So over here, anything along this point is 0. And so right over here, that's the intersection where y is 0, but it's on the line. So what is x there? Well, -2, -4, -6, -8. So the x-intercept is -8. Yeah, let's get rid of that question mark. Put a -8. Yeah. Put a little check mark by that. Or, yeah, let's do a check mark. Check mark. I was doing a star, but check mark. So B, as in Bravo, says the line has positive slope. So I'm going to skip that one for a minute. Now C as in Charlie, the y-intercept is 4. So remember this, what we were just talking about, when x is 0, what is y? So x is 0. So this would be, and this is x on there. So that's +1. That's -1. Over here is 0. But the line doesn't cross that point, so we're going to go up until we hit the line. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the intersection. The y-intercept is 4. Yeah, that's true. When x equals 0, y equals 4. That would also be correct. And then for C, let me put a check mark there. And then D, the line has a negative slope. Okay, so I think this should be, again, fairly obvious that either A is right or either B is right or D is right. And you might be thinking, oh, well, maybe neither are right, but I'll just give you all a hint. it's either going to be B or D. So if B is right, D cannot be correct, and then vice versa. If D is right, B cannot be correct. So does this thing have a positive slope or a negative slope? So as x gets bigger, as we go from -8 to larger numbers, as we go to 0 and then beyond, going towards positive infinity, as x approaches, we write it this way, as x approaches infinity, positive infinity, so I'll even use a plus sign. That's the universal sign for infinity, by the way, is the upside down 8 looking thing. What does y do? So y approaches what? Is y approaching negative infinity? Is it getting smaller? The number is getting smaller, going further and further towards negative infinity, or are they getting bigger, going towards positive infinity? Negative infinity or positive infinity? And this is what we call end behavior. It's currently a skill that would be stressed when you take Algebra 2. So this is end behavior, but the end behavior will tell you if it's a positive or negative slope in this case. So as x goes from -8 to -6, we went from 0 at 8 and -0 at -7. It's somewhere between 0 and 1. And then I'm going to skip to -6. At -6, it's right at 1. So it looks like we went from 0 to 1, where each number is getting successfully bigger. At -4, we're at 2. In fact, if we jump up to our y-intercept here, when x is 4, when we went from 0 to 4, when x is 0, we went -8, -6, -4, -2, 0. And that is getting bigger because we're going towards positive infinity. We're going extensively all the way from negative infinity. If this line kept going, it would go towards negative infinity, but we're going in this direction towards going to the right. As we move to the right, going towards positive infinity, from -8 to 0, we have a y value of 4, so it's getting bigger again. And then at x equals 1, y is somewhere between 4 and 5. So it seems pretty clear it's going towards positive infinity, not negative infinity. So if y is getting bigger, as x is getting bigger, as we move to the right, the y is going up, not down. Would that be a positive or a negative slope? So as x increases, y increases. So that would mean that we would have a positive divided over a positive, rise, which is the y, and run, which is the x. Rise over run, it would be positive divided by positive, and a positive divided by a positive is always a positive. So that would be a positive slope, which means it's not a negative slope. So we'd have a check mark by that. We can circle them, but the one that is incorrect is D. D is incorrect, but the other 3 are correct. And that is it. Hope that was helpful.